ready to present at the getting ready to start the peak performance. Hey everybody, welcome to the Savvy Sales Lady Live. It's good to see you all. And today we're going to talk about social media works, but you got to use it in order for it to work. My dear dad used to say all the time, well, Christine, if you don't play the lottery, you can't win. I'm not a big lottery player, but he was, and he did win a few times, not a large amount of money, about $5,000 to $10,000. But he was faithful about playing, and he used to tell me that all the time. Well, let's talk a little bit about social media. If you have paid attention to my LinkedIn feed, my Instagram feed, and my Facebook feed, you will notice that yesterday I spent about 4 hours with two professionals, absolute professionals. And Kristen says, good afternoon, Christine. Good afternoon, Kirsten, to you too. So I have known Randy in the social media world. Getting back to yesterday, I met with Wes Wyatt, who drove 2.5 hours with his wife over to Indianapolis. Randy Chafee of Building Winds was here as well doing business, so we decided we would all meet. And Randy started following me about 8 years ago, after a little bit after I started my business, and I started following him as well. And so we have followed each other over these years. He's been on my newsletter list as well. It was called Sales Pearl back in the day, and then I changed it to Focus Drop to give you one focus drop each Monday at 3 p.m. Just something to get you to think about. And so he and I have chatted offline. We've chatted online. And just building that relationship. And in the world of social media, it isn't just about throwing up a post. Randy and I have talked off and on for maybe a couple of years now, since COVID, about meeting and just, throwing out ideas and getting to know each other, and Wes as well. Wes Wyatt is a phenomenal marketing person, and I'm going to talk about him in a minute. But, one of the things that came out of that meeting yesterday, we told a lot of stories, we had a lot of fun. And the other thing is, some sales reps that I have coached in the past, that I'm currently coaching, and small businesses that I've been working with on their business development and cold calling, they make a big mistake by not being on social media, by not having a presence on social media. And as I've learned from Wes Wyatt, it's more than just throwing up a post. It's more than that. You have to post every single day. But I'm going to take it one step further. Back in February, I had a Zoom call with a life coach that reached out to me, who has been a follower of mine, maybe for the past year. And she wanted to have a conversation with me, which I was glad to do. So we spoke over Zoom, and which I've done that with lots of coaches in the past. If they want to have a conversation, I'm happy to talk to them. And she asked me about how did I grow my social media presence, and especially on LinkedIn. Okay, I just want to address this on LinkedIn and Facebook, especially if you are posting. In order to have any interaction with your other followers or with your other audience, you have to go on their posts and comment on their post as well. This just isn't a one-way street. And I know a lot of influencers who would never give their audience the time of day, would never give them a like, would never give a comment. But as Wes Wyatt told me, it's more than just hitting that like button or an emoji. It's about actually having a conversation and putting down your thoughts um, in the post or in the comment section or in the description section. Now, many of you may not know this, but I do have another YouTube channel called Eternal Life Plan. And it is a very robust channel, I'll say. And I recently posted a couple of live streams from last week, and the comments were crazy, but I commented back. And you have to do that. When you're small like me on YouTube, on both of my business channels, my Catholic channel is much more robust, but it's still small in the reality of things. You have to engage with your audience. Now, I get that someone that might get 1,000 comments cannot sit there and comment on 1,000 comments, but you sure could comment on some of those comments, right? And the same way on LinkedIn, if you see someone that you're following and they put up a post, comment on it. Even if you don't like it, you can at least find something about the post that you can comment on, because it's about engagement. If you want to attract engagement, you've got to be the one that's out there putting out the engagement as well. So it's a two-way street. Don't think that because you throw up a post, if you build it, they will come. Chances are this is not Field of Dreams. So you're going to have to create the engagement in order to expand the engagement. And there's an influencer on Instagram and on LinkedIn, and no matter what, if he sees a post he doesn't agree with, he is pretty snarky in his comments and pretty critical. And I wouldn't suggest that. Matter of fact, because he's this arrogant of an influencer, I stopped buying all his books. I stopped following anything that he does. And he's in the consultant realm. He's not in the sales coaching realm. But I wouldn't even suggest that. Now, on LinkedIn, it's fastly becoming like Facebook. And I don't agree with all of those posts either, but I'm not going to put out negative comments on some of those things. There is a group that I regularly respond to, and it's a sales group. Some of their stuff is pretty good. And if you're not in groups, I want to encourage you to get in groups too, so you can help expand your presence. But getting back to, if you're a salesperson, why you should be on social media is because your audience, your prospects, your clients are watching. They are. I got this little tickle of a hair on my chin. Sorry about that. And I will say this, that most of the people that I've coached and most of the small businesses that I work with, they don't have a presence on LinkedIn. They don't have a presence on Facebook. They don't have a presence, period. And I think that's a big mistake, even as a sales rep. Now, as a sales rep back in the insurance day, I did do a lot on LinkedIn. I commented. I wasn't so big on posting, but I did comment a lot and give my opinion on group benefits back in the day. And it's all evolved quite a bit since then. Since I've been in business for the last almost 9 years this year, I'll be in business. But what does it do? So if you're a sales rep and you're thinking, I don't have time to comment, I don't have a time to post, my my prospects are not on any social media. And I asked this recently with a group that I'm coaching. And excuse me, I'm having problems today. I've got this hair on my chin. My nose is running. One of the things that I just want to say is you may think that your clients aren't on LinkedIn, are not on Facebook, aren't on Twitter, but they are, and they're watching you. And I have gotten quite a bit of business from not only my newsletter, but from my website, from LinkedIn, not so much from Facebook, but from Instagram I have. So people have come to me from those sources. So I want you to step back and think, how can you take social media and make it work for you? I want to recommend that you set aside a little money every month and think about working with a digital marketer like Wes Wyatt. He really is good, and he's taught me a lot about social media and about posting. And my presence has increased quite a bit since I began working with him at the beginning of the year, and I'm very grateful to him. His name is Wes Wyatt, and you can just search for him on LinkedIn and Facebook, and he's an excellent tool that you can use to manage your social media. I think his fee is very reasonable, and he'll post every day of the week. If you think that you don't have time, he'll do it for you. And again, his fee is very reasonable. One of the other things about being present on social media is people get to see who you are. They get to now. I will say I am not. I don't share a lot of personal information. My son recently, he and his wife recently had a grandbaby, and I've not shared any of those pictures yet of the little baby. My little grandbaby Everett, he's so cute. I haven't shared those pictures yet, only because they have asked me not to. They're not doing it, and so I'm respecting their privacy. And I'm a pretty private person myself. I'll post pictures of my cats and of my dogs all day long, but that's about it as far as my personal life. I do post quite a bit about what I'm doing in my business and different things to get you thinking about um, looking at sales in a different way. That's really what I want to bring. There's a lot of 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds that don't know anything about the old school of selling. And I'm not saying that's the only way to sell. And I'm not saying that you even have to believe me. I'm saying try it out and see if it works for you. A 20-year-old can't relate to a 67-year-old. You either think of me as your mother or your grandmother, but there's a lot of information that I can provide to you that will help shorten your learning curve if you're open to it. If you're not, that's fine too. I don't push my information out on anybody, but you can learn from us old geezers if you're open to doing that. Um, One of the other things that I really love about Randy is he's pretty much old school selling too. He does a lot of the things that I do, and he's a highly successful manufacturer's rep. Highly successful. Let me say, highly successful. I think I'm going to start calling him Big Money Randy. So you can learn a lot from him. But back to the the life coach that reached out to me and asked for my advice. This is what happened. She didn't take it. She didn't do anything that I suggested that she do. I can watch her on LinkedIn and see that that never happened. I don't know why. No clue why that didn't happen. Um, but all of the advice that I gave her, she still isn't commenting on her followers' post. She still isn't engaging with anyone on the post. If you don't like or comment on her post, she doesn't like or comment anybody else's post, and that should not happen. If you're serious about expanding your social media, it takes more than a like hit, and it takes trying to truly engage with the person, with the poster, and giving information that's helpful. Just throwing up a post doesn't work. I mean, there's a process I go through when I think about what I'm going to post. So I have to think about what I want to post, what message I want to convey, and then I'll write out the description for the post. 9 times out of 10, I'll ask a question. Leave your comments below, or do you have any tips you'd like to share, or anything like that. Asking questions helps encourage the engagement. So I really want you to think about what social media can do to help you, because it has helped me. After being in this world for 8 years, it took about 3 or 4 years before it started showing signs of bearing fruit, but it did. Matter of fact, one of my repeat and largest clients came from social media. They found me on social media. So I want to encourage you to continue to post. Think about the posts that you want to put out there and the message you want to convey, and then be sure to reciprocate with your followers on other posts, on their posts and on other posts as well. Like I said in the beginning, it's not a one-way street. It's a two-way street. It's about engagement, conversations, getting to know each other, and following each other through the social media cycle that goes on every minute of every day. Don't think just because you don't see your clients on social media that they're not there and not watching. Matter of fact, I have one business who's not a customer of mine or a client of mine, who every month looks up my profile, and I am going to engage them here real soon, and see if maybe we could work together, because they're viewing my profile for a reason, right? So think about working with Wes Wyatt. My lisp is starting to take form. Think about working with Wes if you feel like you can't devote the time to doing social media. Honestly, it just takes maybe 5 minutes a day. That's it. But Wes can certainly help you, and he's a great person to learn from. So make it a great day and get out there and sell something. Bye bye.